Well, that's it. No armies review after this one. The only one more to go. It's been a long time, and I've liked doing them, but I'm glad there's no more to look at. So another video for Kings of War, and this time we are talking about the Undead. The Undead are, as the name suggests, undead. You've got skeletons, you've got zombies, you've got ghouls, you've got vampires, you've got werewolves, you've got all matter of things that go bump in the night. And yes, the Undead came from a place of the elves teaching a human how to do magic and the human figuring out how to raise the dead back to life. Problem is, he became hungry with power and thus became Morgoth the Faceless. That's the basic it for the Undead. Let's begin. Silent segue. So, if you're in the big book, as I am, the Undead start on page 393. We're finally at the back of the book, and there's a fair bit here. Their alignment is evil, as most Undead are. And their army special upgrade is Undead Giant Rats. This unit gains Life Leech +1. A lot of Undead have Light Leaf, not all, but a lot do. Light Leaf isn't a bad thing, it just means if you cause a wound, you get a wound back. So starting with the infantry on page 393. Starting with the Skeleton Warriors. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve -11, 85 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve -15, 85 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve -22, 140 points. Leech Life 1 and Shambling. Can take an Undead Giant Rat for 10 points. Always do that because Leech Life 2 on a lot of things is pretty good. Most things in the Undead army have Leech Life of some degree. Not everything, but a lot of things do. I'd hold out the Skeleton Warriors because 25 attacks with nerve of -22 is really, really decent. Hitting on 5s, but the amount of attacks you're going to get quite a few, let's be honest. And there is upgrades to kind of mitigate that, so yeah. Next we have the Zombies then. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 2+. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve -15, 70 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve -22, 115 points. Legion 30 attacks, nerve -28, 170 points. Leech Life 1 and Shambling, and can take an Undead Giant Rat for 10 points. Always do that and take them as a Horde or a Legion. The amount of attacks and their nerve is brilliant. Their defense is terrible, but they are cheap, so it's kind of what you expect. Have them as big as possible because you will have the points for it. Just have a lot of zombies. Skeleton Spearmen are next then. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. Troop 12 attacks, nerve -11, 70 points. Regiment 15 attacks, nerve -15, 105 points. Horde 30 attacks, nerve -22, 175 points. Leech Life 1, Phalanx and Shambling, and take Undead Giant Rat for 10 points. Again, always take one of them. In fact, on anything that's got that option, always take an Undead Giant Rat. It's only 10 points and really gives you something brilliant. Skeleton Spearmen, yeah, I'd still say yeah, they're still pretty cheap and gives you Phalanx and still gives you a fair number of attacks, so I'd say yeah. They've got a bit better defense than zombies, well, a lot better defense, so I'd probably take them. I wouldn't take them over the zombies, but I'd complement them, probably taking both, to be honest. Revenants then. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 5+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve -13, 80 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve -17, 125 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve -24, 205 points. Leech life 1 and shambling, and can take an undead giant rat for 10 points. Again, always do that. These are your heavy infantry, and they're not bad. They haven't got an option to take any crushing strength stuff, but it'd be nice if they did, to be honest. It would be nice if they did. Have them as a regiment or a horde, preferably as a horde, because 24 attacks with defense 5 at nerve of -24. Ain't bad. Probably go for the skeleton spearmen or the zombies over these because they are cheaper and they do a similar sort of job. Next we have the ghouls then. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 3+. Troop 12 attacks, nerve 11-13. Sorry, nerve 9-11, 70 points. Regiment 15 attacks, nerve 13-15, 110 points. Horde 30 attacks, nerve 20-22, 180 points. They've got leech life 1 and wild charge D3. I'd probably have them as a horde because the amount of attacks is worth it. Other than that, the amount of attacks just seems a bit meh to me. They are pretty fast. That is their main strength, and as horde they've got a good number of attacks. But to be honest, with how many attacks they get, the thing is with the ghouls, compare them to the skeletons, spearmen, the zombies or the revenants, they kind of outclass them for not many more points difference. So either have them as a horde or don't bother with the ghouls for me. Next is the wraiths. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 6+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve -12, 120 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve -16, 185 points. They've got crush strength 1, fly, leech life 1, nimble, shambling and strider. I'd probably take them as a troop. The amount of difference in nerve and attacks doesn't feel enough to me to be worth it. They have got defense 6 and they can fly, which means they've got a charge range of 14, and they can just fly over things and get in a better position a bit better. Weirdly, they've not got stealthy. I thought they would have, but hey ho, they're not totally expensive as a troop, so I'd have them as a troop. Next we have the mummies. Speed 5, melee 4+, defense 5+. 10 attacks, nerve -14, 115 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve -18, 180 points. Crush strength 2, leech life 1, regeneration 5+, shambling. Take them as a regiment or a troop. Either's not bad. They're kind of like the wraiths, except they can't fly and they've got better stats. Well, not better. Well, their defense isn't as good, but other than that, they're better. The reason I'd say you could go for a regiment is a nerve of 18 for 180 points and crush strength 2. That's fairly decent. Don't go mad on them because they are slightly expensive for what they are. But I mean, crush strength 2 on what they do. That's not bad. Lastly, we have the Soul Reaver infantry. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop 20 attacks, nerve 11-13, 165 points. Regiment 25 attacks, nerve 15-17, 250 points. They are not cheap. Crush strength 2, leech life 2. That's partly the reason why their attacks and their crush strength and their leech life. Would I take them as a troop or a regiment? Either's good, but I'd probably have them as a troop because the difference in attacks doesn't feel worth the extra 35 points. But their nerve is an extra 4 up, so it depends what you want. For me, I'd spot them around as troop. The thing is, they're not irregular, so you can just have a lot of them if you so wish as regiments. I mean, they're still pretty good. Next we have the ranged infantry on page 394. There's only one, They are the skeleton archers and they are regular. Speed 5, melee 6+, defense 3+, range 5+. Troops 8 attacks, nerve -11, 70 points. Regiment 10 attacks, nerve -15, 95 points. Horde 20 attacks, nerve -22, 165 points. Leech life 1, shambling bows which are 24 inch range and can take an undead giant rat for 10 points. The cheap ranged infantry. Apart from taking them as a horde, I just won't bother, or from a thematic standpoint, again, otherwise I just won't bother. They've got bows. They've got bows which are 24 inch range. That's not awful. I mean, considering the stats, they're not great, but they're not awful. They are awful. Next we have the Swarm on page 394. There's only one, and it is the Death Pack, which is essentially a mix of bats, a mix of skeletal dogs, a mix of any weird creepy looking thing. They are regular. Speed 6, melee 5+, defense 2+. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 10-12, 75 points. Horde 24 attacks, nerve 13-15, 125 points. Leech life 2, nimble, stealthy, vicious in melee. They're not bad. They've got a lot of attacks with leech life 2, and they've got vicious and they've got stealthy, which stealthy is going to help a lot. If they didn't have leech life or stealthy, I wouldn't bother with them at all, but as they've got them, I'd hold them out, because they're not something your opponent's going to bother with too much, because, well, they're just going to look at them and think, oh, there's a lot of little things, yay. But them a lot of little things are going to be a major annoyance when your opponent is least going to expect it. So maybe put a few of them in your army. Next we have the Cavalry on page 394. Starting with the Revenant Cavalry. Speed 8, melee 4+, defense 5+. Troop 8 attacks, nerve -14, 105 points. Regiment 16 attacks, nerve -17, 165 points. Horde 32 attacks, nerve -24, 280 points. Leech life 1, shambling, thunderous charge 2. They're just basically really good cavalry. I mean, the shamblings, they're really only downside. Other than that, I'd say they're pretty decent. And you can take a lot of them, so go nuts. I'd say go nuts. They're pretty decent. They're good at charging. They're good at charging. Next we have the Cavalry on page 394. Starting with the Revenant Cavalry. Speed 8, melee 4+, defense 5+. Troop 8 attacks, nerve -14, 105 points. Regiment 16 attacks, nerve -17, 165 points. Horde 32 attacks, nerve -24, 280 points. Leech life 1, shambling, thunderous charge 2. These are a good heavy cavalry unit, but bearing in mind they are really good on the charge. Other than that, they are average. But they have good stats in terms of nerve and attacks. Even if you don't countering the thunderous charge, they are a unit that's going to last a little bit, I'd say. In fact, a few turns if they're not doing the charging. If they are doing the charging, great. But if they're just receiving the charging, yes, they are going to go down, but it's going to take a few turns because their nerve and attacks is going to hurt your opponent. Finally then, we have the Soul Reaver Cavalry. Speed 8, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 12-14, 165 points. Regiment 20 attacks, nerve 15-17, 250 points. Crush strength 1, leech life 2, thunderous charge 1. These are more expensive than the Revenants, but they are a lot more powerful. Take them as a regiment, to be honest. Take them as a regiment. They are good under the charge. They are good while just getting into combat for a couple of turns. They ain't gonna go too quickly. They are expensive, but you get out of them quite a bit. Next we have the Large Infantry on page 394. Starting with the werewolves. Speed 9, melee 3+, defense 5+. They're pretty quick. Oh yes. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve 12 14, 155 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve 15 17, 255 points. 100 points difference. Oh. Crush strength 1, leech life 1, and nimble. They haven't got regeneration. Huh. Okay. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. A little bit expensive, about 10-15 points, I'd say. But their speed and their hitting ability kind of make up for it. They've also got leech life, which means when they get into combat, they are going to hurt things, and they're going to hurt other things quite a bit. The zombie trolls are next. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 5+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve -14, 115 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve -17, 190 points. Crush strength 2, leech life 1, and shambling. These are heavier hitting than the werewolves, and the fearless. The werewolves ain't. They are also a bit cheaper, so I'm surprised they also haven't got regeneration, to be honest, but hey ho, hey ho. Do you want something that can hit hard? Go for the zombie trolls. Or do you want something fast? Go for the werewolves. That's kind of the choice you've got between the two. Next we have the rights then, and they've read their legal rights and they know what they are. They're regular as well. Huh. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 5+. Regiment 9 attacks, nerve -14, 155 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve -17, 260 points. They're not cheap. Brutal, Crusher Strength 2, Fly, Leech Life 1, and Shambling. Don't know why they've not got Leech Life 2, but they are pretty good at what they do regardless. They're Speed 7, they can fly. I'd probably go for either the Rights or the Zombie Trolls, to be honest. The Werewolves are fast, no doubt about it. One of the fastest units in the Undead army. That's just how it is. But compared to some of the other units, the large infantry units, should I say, they are a bit missing something. They haven't got the hitting capability of the zombie trolls, and they haven't got the hitting capability or the the flying capability of the rights or whites, whatever you want to call them. I can still see the point of them. They're the fastest. Each of them's got their strengths and weaknesses, I suppose. Next we have the War Engine on page 395. It is the Bellfire Catapult. Speed 5, range 5+, defense 4+. 2 attacks, nerve -11, 95 points. Shambling, it's 24. Next we have the War Engine on page 395. It is the Bellfire Catapult, yes. Speed 5, range 5+, defense 4+. 2 attacks, nerve -11, 95 points. Shambling, and its attack is Bellfire, 48-inch range, blast D3+1, ignores cover, indirect, piercing 2, and reload. Unholy Flames. When this unit rolls to damage with its Bellfire attack, it can reroll D3 of the dice that fail to damage. That's not bad. It's cheap. It can be really effective depending on how you use it, but I wouldn't go over the top with it because you can only hit on 5s with it. It does ignore cover, so the thing of standing in woods and whatnot is going to not be that much. Well, not standing in woods, standing behind walls and whatnot isn't going to be that much of a problem. But don't go over the border with them because, again, they hit on 5s. Next we have the Monster on page 395. It is the Goreblight. Yeah, there's only one monster for the Undead. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 5+. Attacks D6+6. Nerve -17, 175 points. Got Cloak of Death. Crush Strength 2, Leech Life, and Shambling. It's not bad. It's not bad. Hits on 4s with minimum of 7 attacks, maximum of 12 with a nerve of -17. Crush strength 2, cloak of death, which means stuff near it's going to have to take a nerve test. That's pretty powerful. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Don't go overboard on these, but they're not bad. They're not bad. So we have the heroes, starting on page 395. The Ghoul Ghast is a infantry hero. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 4+, 6 attacks, nerve 12-14, 95 points. Crush strength 1, individual, inspiring cannibal only, so all ghouls. Leech life 2, wild charge D3. It's not bad. If you take a ghoul heavily army, it is pretty much advised to take him. Other than that, he's not bad. He's not amazing, but crush strength 1 with 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. I think he's still going to be a bit of a nuisance to your opponents, so give him a go. Give him a go. Lycanis is a large infantry hero. Speed 9, melee 3+, defense 5+. 5 attacks, nerve 13-15, 150 points. Crush strength 2, inspiring, lycanthrope only, so all werewolves. Leech life 1 and nimble. It's not bad, a little bit expensive for my tastes, but it's quick as all hell, and crush strength 2 with them 5 attacks is not bad. I'd like it to have 7, as I said, with most heroes of this sort of size, but what are you gonna do, I suppose. Vampire Undead Pegasus is a large cavalry hero. Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 10, melee 3+, defense 5+. 7 attacks, nerve 14-16, 215 points. Crush strength 2, inspiring, fly, leech life 2 and nimble. Can take drain life 4 for 20 points. Lightning bolt 3 for 20 points, or surge 4, which is really good for undead, for 10 points. Always go for the surge, so gets all your undead stuff going a bit closer towards the enemy. It's not bad. It's a little bit expensive. I'd like to have a few more attacks for its amount of points cost, but it does what it needs to do. It flies around, hitting enemies really hard. I'd say it's pretty good, even for its points cost. Vampire Lord is an infantry hero. Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. 7 attacks, nerve 14-16, 165 points. Crush strength 2, duelist, individual, inspiring, leech life 2 and mighty. Can mount an undead horse, increasing speed to 8 and changing to hero cavalry for 35 points, fairly standard, maybe. Drain life 4 for 20 points, not bad. Lightning bolt 3 for 20 points, surge 4 for 10 points. Maybe go for the surge. The thing with it is that it's got 7 attacks hitting on 3s. Your opponent's going to worry about that. The problem is it's 165 points worth of all that. I don't think I'd bother with it, because considering what else has got surge and the like, you can get that cheaper, and you want to get it cheaper. Vampire Lord and Undead Dragon. Hero Titan, spellcaster rank 0. Speed 10, melee 3+, defense 5+. 10 attacks, nerve 17-19, 215 points. Crush strength 3, inspiring, fly, leech life 2 and nimble. Icy breath 10 as a spell to begin with, why not? Can take heal 4 for 15 points, light bolt 4 for 15 points, surge 8 for 15 points. It's not a cheap way to get surge, but it is a good way. It makes it 330 points, but I think it's worth it. It's a really good Titan sort of... It's a really good Titan, really heavy unit, and it does the business. You're not going to see many of them because it's really expensive, but it's going to do what it needs to do, let's face it. Revenant King, infantry hero, spellcaster rank 0. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 5+. 3 attacks, nerve dash 14, 80 points. Crush strength 1, individual, inspiring, leech life 1. Mount on an undead horse, increases speed to 8 and changing to hero cavalry for 25 points. Surge 5 for 10 points. This is the cheaper way to get surge, because it makes it about half the points cost as a Vampire Lord. I mean, for 115 points, you can mount on the horse and give it Surge 5. I'd probably do that so you can nip around giving surges wherever you want. You don't want it in combat because, well, come on, it's going to die like 1-0, but as it's staying around, it's going to be an important thing for your opponent to kill. So I'd have it supporting units, surging them all over the place. Revenant on Undead Giant Burrowing Worm. He is a Titan hero. Yeah. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 5+, 12 attacks, nerve dash 18, 220 points. Brutal, crush strength 3, large leaf 2, and strider. Gain the ranged attack Plague Breath, which is 12-inch range, range 4+, steady aim for 15 points. Maybe on that one, maybe. It's not something amazing, but 12 attacks hitting on 4s with steady aim, that's not bad. It's also not that expensive on its own. 12 attacks hitting on 4s with a nerve of dash 18, with crush strength 3 and brutal. It's a pretty powerful thing. In fact, if it wasn't for the inspiring and the fact it can fly, I'd always go for this over the Vampire Lord on Undead Dragon, because it's got more attacks, it's got brutal, its nerve is better in some areas, and it is 95 points, no, 95 points cheaper. Next we have the Revenant King on Undead, Great Flying Worm. Hero Titan, Spellcaster rank 0. Speed 10, melee 4+, defense 5+. 10 attacks, nerve dash 19, 215 points. Crush strength 3, fly, inspiring, leak laugh 1, and nimble. Gain the ranged attack Plague Breath, which is 12-inch range. Hits on 4s, steady aim for 15 points. Surge 8 for 15 points. Yes, for the Surge, because Surge 8 and an optional, a possible, should I say, 8-inch charging stuff forward. Yeah. And don't forget, if surges make the units get into close combat with an enemy, they count as charging. And that's for 265 points. That's still 50 points cheaper than a Vampire Lord and an Undead Dragon. And it pretty much does the same thing. I mean, what's different? Hits on 4s rather than 3s. And it hasn't got Icy Breath as a spell. Yeah, I'd go for the Revenant King on Undead Flying Worm over the Vampire Lord and Undead Dragon, because it's majoritively better. Lich King then. Spellcaster rank 3, Infantry hero. Speed 7, melee 5+, defense 5+. 1 attack, nerve dash 14, 155 points. Not cheap. Fly, individual, inspiring, regeneration 5 point plus. Surge 10. Can take Bane Chant 3 for 30 points, Life Drain 7 for 35 points, Heal 6 for 40 points, or 3 if it replaces Surge, maybe. Icy Breath 10 for 30 points, Lightning Bolt 5 for 35 points, Blizzard 3, and you can only have one of them in your army, for 40 points. This is one of the best spellcasters in the game, because you've got good Drain Life, you've got good Bane Chant, you've got good Heal. It's expensive, but it does what it needs. And Lightning Bolt is good, if a bit expensive. That's the problem with him. It's a bit expensive, but if you want decent surging, he's not too bad. He's 95 points less than the Revenant King on the Flying Worm, but he's not as effective in what he does. But he gets to fly around and still do his surging wherever he wants. So as a smaller target, your opponent ain't going to be able to hit him or charge him as often if you target him wherever you want. So in some circumstances, he's possibly better because of his size, makes him easier to surge stuff how you want. Next we have the Necromancer. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve 10, 12, 50 points. He's got individual and surge 6. Mount on an undead horse, increasing speed to 8 and changing to hero cavalry for 25 points. I'd probably go for that so you can nip him around and cast Surge wherever you want. Or a Vicious in melee, zombie only, for 20 points. This upgrade cannot be taken in addition to an undead horse, because I'd always do that. Maybe take this upgrade because at least then they've got more of a chance of hitting things, and with the amount of attacks zombies can take, maybe it's a good idea. Makes them 70 points, so why not? Heal 3 for 20 points, or 3 if it replaces Surge. No, don't replace Surge. Bane Chant 2 for 20 points. Maybe that's not a bad option. Drain Life 5 for 25 points. Again, not a bad option. Weakness 2 for 15 points. Not a bad option. My best ones would be Bane Chant or Drain Life. I won't bother with Heal because the amount of wounds you get back is a bit paltry, and everything's got Leech Life. Well, most things got Leech Life as it is, so it's the cheapest way to get Surge. You're going to probably see a lot of Necromancers. It's not as manoeuvrable as the Lich King, but it's also 3 times, it's a third of the points cost of the Lich King. It's going to die quicker than a Lich King, but let's face it, if it's getting to get itself into combat, either A, something's gone horribly wrong, or your opponent's got something horribly powerful. So, yeah, if you want to Surge a lot, get a lot of Necromancers. They are cheap and effective. Next we have the Cursed Pharaoh. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Spell speed 5, melee 3+, defense 6. 5 attacks, nerve 14, 16, 155 points. Crushing strength 2, individual, inspiring, leech life 2, mighty, regeneration 5+, and has got surge 5. He's not a cheap hero, but your opponent can't ignore him either. He's got crush strength 2, hitting on 3s. Normally I'd say don't bother, but crush strength 2 hitting on 3s, that one makes him a threat. But the thing is, the heroes for this, it's very competitive between the Vampire Lord on Undead Dragon, the Revenant King on Flying Worm, the Revenant on Undead Burrowing Worm, the Lich King, and the Necromancer. And I mean, even the Lycanis has a point to taking him. So I feel like the Cursed Pharaoh is going to be left out of a lot of lists because everything else is going to take precedence, I feel. It's still not bad, but considering what else is out there, you're going to struggle, I feel, to put him in. Finally, then, we have the Undead Army Standard Bearer. Speed is an infantry hero. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve, dash 11, 50 points. Individual, inspiring, leech life 1. Mount an undead horse, increasing speed to 8 and changing to hero cavalry for 25 points. No, just take a necromancer. It does a lot more and will help you a lot more. The thing is, it's a cheap way to get inspiring, yes. But considering the army, you've got too much surging to think about inspiring. Necromancer's got surge 6. Lich King's got surge 10. Yes, it's three times the points cost, but it's 3 times the more effective. Don't bother with the army standard bearer. It's really not worth it in this case. So we come on to the unique units on page 397. Right at the end of the book. Morgoth the Faceless to start with. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 3. Speed 10, melee 5+, defense 5+. 1 attack, nerve 14, 16, 230 points. Dread, fly, individual, regeneration 5+, very inspiring. Unholy Levitation! This unit can move at the double and make ranged attacks as if it had advanced this turn. This is very important. Bane Chant 3, Drain Life 9, Mind Fog 3, Surge 10. He is the ultimate Lich King / Necromancer, and he wants you to know it. Drain Life 9 is amazing, Surge 10 is amazing, and he can fly about 20 inch wherever he wants. His downside is he's pretty rubbish in combat. He hits on 5s with 1 attack. His nerve is still pretty good, I have to say. He's got regeneration as well, and is very inspiring. He's expensive, but how you use him, you want him as a support character, casting Drain Life or Surge if you need to. Have him in complement to the other necromancers. Have them surging. Have him surging. The thing is, though, you can take about nearly 5 necromancers for the points cost of him. But Surge 10 will mean chances are your units will reach your opponent's units a lot quicker than a necromancer can. It just depends what you want, I suppose. Next we have Lady Leona. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 6+. 8 attacks, nerve 14-16, 280 points, she ain't cheap. Crush strength 3, duelist, individual, inspiring, leech life 2, and mighty. Promise of love eternal. Enemy heroes attacking Lady Leona receive -1 to hit in melee. Spells Enthrall 5, Heal 3, Lightning Bolt 3, and Surge 3. Apart from Enthrall, the rest of the spells are a bit middling. She's a hero that's going to be annoying. Your opponent's just going to think it's like a normal vampire or something and maybe ignore it. That's at the downfall because she's really, really good. Crush strength 3. 8 attacks, hitting on 3s. I'd use her as a monster killer. Go up against massive earth elementals or giants or dragons just chopping away at them. She's probably going to come off the better of the 2 opponents because leech life is going to mean she's going to last a bit longer. But we'll have to see on that because, I mean, bear in mind, if you use it especially on stuff like dragons, pretty much all dragon based stuff are hero titans, so they are at -1 to hit her, and most of them will need either 4s or 5s to hit her after all bonuses and penalties. So yeah, she's expensive, but I think she does the job as a monster killer. Finally we have Jarvis. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 1. Speed 5, melee 5+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve 12-14, 140 points. Individual, very inspiring. Ophidian Book of Secrets. Jarvis adds 6 inch to range of his Bane Chant, Heal, Lightning Bolt and Surge spells. Not bad. The Noble Dead. When Jarvis is included, as in an undead army, the hero's entire army alignment changes to good, but no other unique heroes may be included in this army. No surprise there. Bane Chant 2, Heal 3, Lightning Bolt 3 and Surge 8. Surge has got a good range with Jarvis. I mean, what's the range of Bane Chant normally? It's not bad range. That's useful. Bane Chant is 12 inch, so that'd be 18 inch. Surge would be 18 inch as well, which is pretty decent. They are the main ones, I'd say. 140 points for what he is pretty good. I'd say he's a pretty good hero, and it means you can take them with things like salamanders and an undead army with Basileans. That's just weird. He is nearly the points cost of 3 necromancers, but he is still a pretty good necromancer. With the range of the spells, you've got a little bit of leeway of how you want him to do his spell casting. Moving between units to Surge and Bane Chant, which gives him a little bit of option. He's a support character. He's not a fighty character in both range and close combat. So be wary of that. Be very wary of that. The thing with the undead is their main weakness is they're slow, and their base shooting is pretty naff. It's one of the worst in the Kings of War main book. But they have some strength up their sleeves. Majority of the army is fearless, and their heroes have got good Bane chanting. In fact, that is their big strength, is their Bane chanting. You don't get rid of their heroes, you have got problems, because that Bane chanting will mean they do get into close combat, and they will. They have also, near enough everything has got leech life on it, which means they are going to be extremely hard to take care of. The thing with them is their defense is rubbish. There's no getting way around it. Their defense is terrible. But the nerve and the amount of attacks they get really do make up for this. They are not a bad starter army. I wouldn't say they're the best starter army, because their stats are naff in terms of defense capabilities and their maneuverability. But for an army that wants to stay around a while, they are pretty good. So that's it for the Undead. Goodbye for now.